This is mostly just a simple list of interactions I've had with this Legbeard over the 3.5 years that I worked with her, and they're all worthy of sharing. I'm no stranger to neckbeards, as I've dealt with them a lot in my high school years, but this is the only interaction I can think of having with a Legbeard. I work in food service, and in this industry, meeting a weirdo coworker is inevitable. I will make clear now that she is generally a kind person. She's just a lot. I had heard about this girl from a relative of mine that worked at the same restaurant before I started there, so I went in already knowing that she was a handful. My initial impression, of course, was that she wasn't too bad. Keyword, initial. I learned pretty quickly within the first few hours of working side by side with her that she is obsessed with anime and anything else Japanese. She proudly proclaimed herself as a weeaboo. When she met my friend, also an anime fan, she squealed out, "Are you an otaku like me?" For those of you not familiar with the term, it is used to describe someone with an unhealthy obsession. It's not something you want to be called. Now, I'm used to otakus and weeaboos. They made up a large amount of the people I knew in my early high school years, but this girl took it a step further. She was the girl casually wearing Japanese traditional clothing and using the most basic Japanese phrases and words on coworkers and to the poor, unsuspecting public. And by simple, I mean, "Oh, kawaii! Gomen, konnichiwa, nani?" on a loop. She's the girl appropriating the culture, language, and making no effort in actually trying to learn about it. Some of my favorite smaller instances involving her were proudly telling coworkers that she is a conservative hippie, doesn't shave down below at all, which explained her smell, and that she believes she knows how businesses work since she runs garage sales. She also enjoyed sharing now she believed firmly that she is a Viking that only eats what she hunts, despite regularly eating at the restaurant. She believes the Statue of Liberty is simply an underwater boat and can be moved whenever. ADHD and ADD is not a real thing, and kids are just bored because teachers just teach the exact same things over and over. She doesn't trust doctors because they only in it for the paycheck, etc. Crackpot conspiracy theories were her specialty. Now, back to her foreign languages. She believes she's a pro at different languages, Japanese, German, English, Spanish, etc. One day, another coworker and I were trying to remember how to count in French. Don't ask me why, we were bored. She just so happened to hear me say, "I can't count in French, but I can count in Korean." Korean isn't hard to count in, whether it's in Sino-Korean or Native Korean. When she hears my statement, she announces she too can count in Korean and blurts out, or attempts to, numbers 1 through 5. This girl butchered the pronunciation, sloshing it all together. To anyone who did not know what she was going for, they assumed she was drowning in her own spit. Now, my Korean isn't perfect, but the pronunciation of 1 through 5 is pretty easy. Me, being the asshole I am, turned around with a sharp, "Not even fucking close." She sunk back with a muttered, "Well, that's how I learn," and walked away. I know I could have been nicer, but I had worked with her for 2 years by then, and my patience with her self-righteousness was an all-time low. I'm another instance. She attempted to speak Spanish to a group of Hispanic guys that walked into our restaurant. Now, this doesn't sound too bad right off the bat, but these poor men did not speak Spanish. She went solely on the assumption that they do because of their parents. I gave them a horrified look, followed by a mouthed apology. What did she try to say to them? "Hello, my name is blank," followed by nonsense. And if they were Spanish speakers, they'd be at a loss for words. I'm not sure where her false sense of confidence and linguistics came from, but holy hell, she was a mess. Small shit like this happened often. Attempting to speak Spanish with Hispanic customers, German, Dutch with our Amish customers, and speaking Japanese with anyone who stood too close to her, but my last real interaction with her happened Christmas of 2018. She was moved to night shift due to her boyfriend's schedule, as well as our general manager no longer being able to tolerate her. So I did not see her often. When Christmas came around, we had planned a store get-together on Christmas Eve after the store closed. I did not plan showing up, but when the amount of employees that showed up was a measly 3, I felt bad. Yes, just like the Grinch, my heart grew 3 sizes that day, and I decided to join in on the festivities. My AGM was one of the employees that had showed up, ready to party, so I texted her and told her to bring everyone to my house. My roommate was going to a family gathering, so it would be just us 4 hanging out and playing games. We decided on Cards Against Humanity, and written on the white cards by me and a few other co-workers were inside jokes about, you guessed it, Legbeard. I rushed through the decks to pull them out, brushing it off as, it's inside jokes, so there's no point having them in there. I didn't want to risk her understanding and having her holiday ruined again that night. After a few hours, everyone except Legbeard had left, and we ended up talking about K-pop. A great love of mine. Sorry, not sorry. It was just about the only common interest we had. So we watched a few videos, and when we got to BTS videos, it went downhill. There's a member named Park Jimin who's so soft, pretty, and squishy. Excuse my gay showing. He makes even straight men melt. The second one she sees him, she erupts in squeals and ahs and starts yelling "Kawaii" at the screen. To this day, I don't know how I resisted the urge to slap the dog shit out of her, that loud, unnecessary bullshit, because it enrages me to this day. No amount of anger management or therapy can prepare you for a 30-year-old woman throwing herself onto your bench, kicking, flailing her arms, and squealing over a pretty boy singer 7 years younger than her. You can, be attracted to a singer, that's normal. But whatever the hell that shit was is not okay coming from a grown-ass person in my book. I was nice, though. As much as I would have enjoyed taking her for that extra shit, I was nice. Let me tell you, her quitting was a big relief, simply because I do not know how much more I could take. I still see her around at Walmart, wherever she works, or at the restaurant when she gets food. She looks better than she used to, and like I said, she is a good person. I just can't handle the Legbeard behavior.